Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Hwee, the podcast where we deep dive into the stories behind extraordinary individuals and the people who help shape their journeys. I am Rachel, your host, and today's conversation is truly special. Today we have the privilege of speaking with the incredible parents behind one of Singapore's rising stars in the world of sport, Maeder. Max has made waves on the global stage as an elite kitefoiler, recently bringing home a historic Olympic medal for Singapore. But behind this young champion is a family with a unique approach to parenting, one that's rooted in resilience, independence, and curiosity. Max's parents, Valentin and Keng, join us today to share not just how they've supported their son's remarkable achievements, but also how they've cultivated an environment where passion, vulnerability, and personal growth thrive. In this episode, we'll also uncover the values that shaped their parenting philosophy, the lessons they've learned along the way, and how they navigate challenges of raising a world champion while ensuring their other children also feel equally supported and empowered. Without further ado, I am going to start this conversation and I'm so excited. So welcome Keng and welcome Valentin.
Thank you, Rachel, for having us.
No problem. So excited. So before we begin, for those of us who may not be as familiar with you, could you share with us a little bit about yourself and your journey?
I'm Keng. I'm the mother of Maeder, better known as the kitefoiler in Singapore.
You also have two other boys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Carl, who's 16 and also a kitefoiler, and an 8-year-old. We call him VJ.
Valentin Jr. Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So the boys got the names of the grandfathers, and then we expected the girl, which was a boy in the end. So no more grandfather names. So he got the daddies exactly.
That's beautiful.
And they also have a Chinese philosopher name each, to connect to our Chinese family tradition.
To their roots. And
Right.
That's beautiful.
Exactly.
And both of you are entrepreneurs running your own business as well?
That's correct, for most of our lives, yes.
Yeah.
So we're like an entrepreneur couple, I can say. Yeah. No, it's true, because any business, that you run with your family, will always have your spouse behind. Any entrepreneur will tell you that this is a key role.
So raising a world champion like Max is no small feat, but I think every journey begins somewhere. Can you take us back to the beginning and the earlier days when Max showed a love for sport and competition? And how did that also shape your early journey as parents and the decisions that you made?
I think from young, it's a lot of exposure. Like he said, he learned to swim before he learned to walk. That's because we're surrounded by waters, and I just want to make sure that they understand water safety.
Survival.
Yes. And I think we always did sports. We
just
love
a
sports.
lifestyle,
Yeah.
It's a lifestyle.
Yes. So we exposed him to...
So, I got to cycle,
Yeah.
even they're like just, how do you say, toddlers. You just put them in a little chariot
Trailer.
behind, Then the moment that they can cycle, you put them on a bicycle, you take them along, that's kids are really good at something,
What are some values that you prioritize as parents for your children and for your family?
Oh, I don't know about values per se, but we have an idea of how we would like them to grow up. Like independence, you said, right?
Yeah.
And this is something you have to start very, very young. And I said that before. And if you believe in something, you will work towards what you want in the end, right? So actually, for me, less is more. You help them to do less, they will do more. And that creates the independence for me.
So tangibly, how did that look like, for example, when they were growing up?
For example, it starts when he's maybe 3 years old. He has to walk to his caretaker, which is down the street, around the corner.
By himself?
Yes.
At 3 years old?
Yes.
Amazing.
So it's difficult to let go, but, you can tell them, you do this, you do that, and then, you watch out for cars, and, okay, you teach them, and then you let them go. And then I looked out from the window, nervous or whatever. And then when you see him disappear around the corner, I call the neighbor and says, okay, he should be there. That's
and he
it.
is.
Yes.
And wow, that's really interesting because I also read that Max started traveling for competition at a very young age. Was it 11? Traveling by himself for competition. So now understanding that you actually nurtured that since he was a toddler at 3 years old, how do you balance and navigate between, pushing your kid yet also protecting him?
Like let's take his younger brother Carl. Okay.
Yeah.
I think his first words were not "Mama, Papa." His first words were like, "Let me down," so he can go off on his own.
Yeah.
He couldn't yet walk. He just crawled, and he wanted to explore himself.
Yes.
So you don't really have to push them. If they're ready to explore,
They will
you
signal
let
to
them.
you.
You just make sure,
to you,
just make sure that they're safe. Like keep an eye a little bit. But as long as there's no car running over them or no hot
high
oil
energy,
pouring over them or no high energy, no high pressure, it's like if they fall down a little bit, so be it. So they'll quickly discover, that gravity, is a thing that they should observe. But in general, it's something that the kids are naturally inclined to explore their surroundings.
Yes.
Wow. So that was how you also slowly inculcated and built independence
Yes.
at a young age.
And because we
You
travel
let
a
them
lot,
do it, which is natural. I mean, it's like for all of us who can still remember how we grew up, it's natural that the kids roam the forest by the age that they're 3 or 4. They go with the older kids. It's normal.
It's normal.
Yeah.
So it's just normalizing what kids have always been.
Yeah.
The same is let's say about the traveling. They ask, "Oh, I'm so young." How? I said, "Well, we were more comfortable about Max traveling at 11 or 12 years old than parents should be about their daughters traveling with 20, because by the time they were 11 or 12, they have already gone through a good amount of training of how to travel, whom to trust, how does it look, if you can trust someone, okay, you have a reference to this guy who owns that hotel, he recommends that driver. So, and he said, okay, look, if it sounds like this, and this is very high probability that it's okay, but if somebody picks you up at the train station that you have never seen, that's not a good probability that they don't have an agenda, which might be, just we train them from small how it looks. And like a boy who grows up on a farm can milk a cow by the age he's 10 or 8, and drive a tractor by the age he's 10, the kids learn to travel. They just do what you expose them to, right? And that becomes
And
normal
for the practical aspects, right?
Yeah.
Because we've been traveling so much with them since they're young, you start to say, okay, that's how we do check-in, look at the
see.
board, what's
So
the gate, then bring us to the gate, please. You lead the way, we follow you, and then they navigate. They will.
Do you also walk them through in situations where if a stranger approaches them, for example, or, unexpected things happen, how to respond? Or
Stranger danger.
stranger danger. Like at 3 years old, if you allow them to walk to school by themselves, how else do you also prepare them besides, of course, throwing them into the sea and hoping that they learn how to tread water and survive?
I think that is a bit more advanced stuff that comes from you look at the probabilities of things happening. I mean, so you get from small, you tell them what things are more likely and what is less likely. And very often parents are impulsive and they cannot differentiate between the probability of 1 to a million and 1 to 10. These are different things. And the million and the billion are also different things. They're 1,000 times apart, So to get the kids from early a feeling of what things are likely and what are not likely, can address a lot of fears.
Yeah.
Like my 8-year-old came the other day and said he's afraid of being hit by a comet. I said, by a comet? Are you serious? That's
Almost impossible.
And then
probability.
tsunami. Yeah, right. Oh, you laugh, but it's a real fear.
For him,
Okay, so it's just a bit less likely than other things that people are afraid of, completely unnecessary.
It's true.
Whereas then they are not afraid of things which are very likely. So that's from small we discuss likelihoods and probabilities
I see.
with the kids, so they can put together this. It's like a poker player. I mean, he also has to gauge what is probably, what is not
probabilities,
probably, right?
Yeah.
And,
No,
and
that
just give
makes a
them
lot
this
of sense.
feeling,
Yeah.
both from practical aspects
Yes.
as also the theoretical aspects,
Yeah.
so that they can gauge. I mean, that's helped him later also, of course, in the
Yeah.
sports, but also in navigating social
Amazing.
To
situations.
have a habit to,
Yeah, that was a bit more advanced, sorry.
You just have to identify them instead of looking and seeing what you want to see. See who they are.
Wow.
Right, you. What I always say to young parents, is don't listen to any advice, not even this one, because the problem starts when you start to take all sorts of auntie and relatives and
Good
friends, good advice,
Good intention.
That's when the trouble starts, because you know exactly, intuitively, what your child needs. Okay, and don't listen to any advice. I mean,
And every child is different.
I also tell them. Yes, it's an important function of you as a young mother to receive the love, okay, of your aunties and your mothers, and but just put it in a bowl, take it, accept the love, and put it somewhere else, and go about your life undisturbed, and because you know best what to do.
Wow. And because I think a lot of us, we as parents, we might wrestle between our own ambitions for our kids versus their own desires for themselves. How do you reconcile or navigate that? Or what is your advice for us?
No advice.
No advice,
Don't
but
have ambitions for them. That's no, it's true. If you have an outcome neutral mentality, then you're not so fast by everything else that goes on, right? Instead of having ambitions for them,
Or expectations?
Right.
why don't you just go
my
according to
wife
them?
tells me a very robust way to find out what your spouse wants is to ask. And surprisingly, it works fairly well with kids also.
Yes. Ask,
Ask and observe,
Yes. And don't think that just because they are 5 years old, 3 years old, or how many years old, they can't articulate. The moment you let the child articulate and you listen to them, and if you really listen to them, you will know. You will. They will tell you in no unclear terms.
Wow.
And even if they're unclear, then you understand that they are unclear.
And that itself is an
Yes,
answer.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, they actually do it non-verbally even.
Yes, they
you
do
know, you think
non-verbal.
look, as a dad, you think you have to wait until they're like at least 5 and then you can do something with them. And then, you see them coming out, and like after 1 minute, they look at you and like, zzz, they already communicate with you non-verbally, and you understand exactly what to do.
I love that. What a great reminder of removing our own lens and just looking and observing them as they are. Just now we were also chatting, and you mentioned also about creating safe spaces at home and the environment of a safe space for our children. How is that important to you, and what does a safe space look like? And was there also a particular instance where one or more of your kids, open up to you in a way that made you realize that, wow, this environment of a safe space is so essential and important in a family?
Okay, so you were asking about the safe space, the importance of this safe space. And I think that was just communicated from small. Like I can remember once when I had to advise the middle one of a behavior which would be a little bit more conducive to a positive outcome, if I may say so. And he took it like a bit like I rejected him or something.
Right.
And then I took the little guy on my knee. He was like, what, 6, 7, something like this, or 8, I don't know, 7, say, okay. And I put him on my knee and I said, look, little guy, just because you made a mistake, I wouldn't reject you as little as I would cut off my foot just because I knocked my toe and it hurt me, right? No, you're forever a part of me, and that's out of question that I'll ever not love you. You cannot even behave. I may not want to hang out with you, but I still would love you if you do
Unconditionally.
whatever you do. That's anyway a given, which is out of question. This you have to never even spend any
energy.
possessor power, any energy even of thinking of it. I would throw my life away for you at an instant. Okay, this is your dad. Okay.
Wow.
I have lived. I'm fine. if the moment comes up, I know I'm strong enough to throw my life away without even thinking. That's your dad for you, okay? So now let's look at some suitable behaviors which may get you in the direction of the things which you actually want, And here's the deal, young man, You've got until 12 to benefit from my education effort. After 12, this is over. Because anyway, then you can't anymore. It's like I can tell you at 12, my mother was still like me, and I looked it up for my book and said, Mom, what are you telling me? I just can't reconcile what you're trying to tell me with relevant world literature. Why don't you just that's it. It's over at 12. It's over, and you switch into steering your course and answering coaching calls if they want to know something. But I'm for sure not telling you anything afterwards. If you want to keep your elbow on your table after that, good luck. I may or may not want to be your company then, but
Well, that's very interesting, Valentin, if I may dig deper, because what is the role that you see you having as a parent from 0 to 12 and then 13 to the rest of their lives?
I would say from most parents, get themselves into unpleasant situations and their kids into lots of grief for trying to educate them after 12. I mean, it's like you're trying to educate the 15-year-old. It's like the French call it like chercher midi à 14 heures, which means like looking for noon at 2 o'clock. It's over,
And very often, if they have issues at teenagers, during their teenage years, it didn't start there. It's from way back. It's already from, I don't know, probably
right. So
before
you ask
6.
me what roles do the parents have.
Yeah.
And I believe you just steer your course, you lead your life, okay? And if you because until they're kind of grown up and they're their own people, they need maybe, Max maybe a little bit faster, others a little bit longer. But, you're your own person 10 years later, okay? Where when you make something stupid, you don't think, oh, what's mom going to say? Okay, then you start to be grown up, right?
It's true.
Right?
Yeah.
So at that time, during that time, they need some kind of a reference system, a reference point. And if you as parents, you just do, you lead your life, and you can remain the reference point. If you try to cramp their style, they will just use somebody else.
You will take outside the family as a reference.
Some gang leader, some gang leader, peers, some pop star, whatever. They will just take away you as a reference. But as long as you're there without cramping their style, they can use you as a hopefully healthy reference. And they may come to you and say, okay, what do you think about this or that? Then you answer this as a coaching call, but not as a...
No judgments.
No judgment.
Very important, I think.
Is it very hard too?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
What is
For me,
hard?
it's hard
Why not?
not to make judgments. I mean, not to communicate your opinion.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is there an example you can walk us through?
Okay, if I don't really think a certain company is good
Right.
for my child or for my teenage boy, I don't say I don't like you, this person. I will ask, what do you like about this person? What is this? How does this person attract you? What do you think you can? What from hanging out with the person? What do you get? What do you like? What you don't like? And if I see that he has the ability to differentiate and then I'm fine. He can go with this person.
I love it. And I'm learning so much also. And I'm just wondering, are there any family rituals that you have as parents with your kids? Especially as they're growing up?
No,
yes.
during COVID we had. Because during COVID we were forced. I mean, we had to, we came together and we stayed in Switzerland. And every mealtime, we had this ritual, remember, of saying gratitude.
One of us
have to, instead of saying grace, we say gratitude.
Yeah.
It's a gratitude session, so everybody gets a turn to say what they're grateful for. Yeah. So we want them to practice that.
No, but like
be grateful.
I would say like deeply,
Even the younger one.
Yes.
Look, I think deeply, more deeply engraved the rituals were that we let the kids always be close to us. You know what I mean? So for example, they, as long as they wanted, they could be sleeping
in our
with
beds.
us. We,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, I had per boy one sleepless night about that. You know, but because they slept with us. You know what I mean? The older boys only moved out of our bed once the young
Younger
guy
one
was
came
disturbing them.
And they felt
They're like, oh no, we need to go now.
they
we
want
want
that
to
peace,
go.
that peace and quiet.
But so there was just like, you know, their warm core where, you know, like the middle one. I mean, you didn't see the guy the whole day. You know, but at night he crawled in and there was his safe
He wants
space.
his hug.
Yeah.
He needs his,
Right?
Wow. You know, I think in one of your interviews, you also shared that, you know, Max, when he was in Spain by himself, he confided in both of you that he felt overwhelmed.
Yes.
And in that instance, what did that show you as parents? And how do you also then navigate, you know, again, the balance of pushing your child yet also wanting to support them?
Okay, look, I remember that fairly well, that instance in Spain, you know. I mean, he was traveling a few times already alone, and then there was that particular...
And how old was he at that time?
11, yeah.
12?
11, yeah. Between 11 and 12, yeah.
So we rented an apartment for him.
yeah.
He had to cook, shop,
At
everything,
11.
wash, you know, and then there was like very tough conditions, like high winds, high
yeah.
waves, you know, and like everything was wet, you know, and cold. And then he called us and said, like, hey, it's you know, because he started to get good also and started to beat older ones already, so that they didn't find him such a cute kid
little
anymore.
boy anymore,
It was embarrassing, some of
was.
them. You know? So he started to feel a bit
Isolated.
So we said, like, okay, good, you know, and he said, you know, he needs a bit of assistance.
Yeah.
Okay. From there we said, like, okay, good. We make sure that he has a bit more assistance. Okay, and
Support.
a bit of warmth and support, you know, and just tweak that a little bit, and then from then on he worked again.
But then we, of course, like we say, go back to the safe space, and we always, you know, because we've established a certain bond, right?
Yeah.
They're always free to come back to say, no, we can't, and then we'll step in, you know.
Yeah.
That's why I say, you know, like
Never ridicule, never judge, never make fun. Just give what you know. Take in the signals and do what we feel would be good for them.
You know, Max has been now 12 years kiting, whereof about 8 years pretty much as a professional. He hasn't had as much as a scratch.
Yeah.
Okay, no torn ligaments, no muscle stretch, no cuts, no concussions, nothing.
Because we
touch wood.
Yeah. But safety is always a very high on our priority list. Right. So when it's safety issues, we don't consult them anymore. We inform them.
Non-negotiable.
No, we inform.
I mean, they went to this skate park, pump track. I think they came back after one morning with more bruises and
Then his
entire
career.
Yes.
So it's not
I see.
as dangerous as you think. I mean, yeah.
You know, in high pressure situations like competitions, mistakes are inevitable. How do you as parents help them process their failures constructively while also maintaining their self-confidence?
You have to look a little bit deeper for this, okay? Bear with me. Look, let's say we as well-meaning parents basking in the soft glow of parental pride, you know, want to tell our kids, hey boy, you've got this, okay? So what do we do when we say you've got this? We put a bit of expectations. We load a little bit of expectations on them. You know, they kind of like, oh, okay, I should have this. Okay, I should go out and get this. And then, what if not? Okay. So the issue is, kids don't mind to fail. Look at any toddler, you know, they all walk after, they all talk after a while, more than you want. So, but how do they get there? By, you know, try, fall. They don't mind to fail. They only start to mind to fail once you start to put expectations on them, and once they start to fear to disappoint you, because what the kids don't mind to fail, but they mind to lose the connection to you or to damage the connection to you, right? So if from small, okay, you communicate not, you've got this, but, go out and try. You're fit to try, you never mind if you fail, just try again, we've got you if you need some more assistance, you just let us know, and otherwise just try again. You will see, you will overcome,
Celebrate their efforts as much as you celebrate their successes.
Right, exactly. So, and then from overcoming themselves, they will build confidence. I can do this, because very often they quickly build higher expectations in themselves. You actually need to
help them scale it back.
you need to protect them nearly from their own ambition. You know what I mean? To say like, hey, don't be so hard on you. So, but I would say that's a key thing at the soft core. From look, you're free to try. It's fine to fail. Don't worry. We're there for you.
Wow.
That's where it comes from.
So shifting from you've got this to we've got you.
Wow. That's at the core of what makes them afterwards confident in their own ability to overcome challenges, to try new things, and they believe that this can, whatever, you try 15 different things, and one thing you can keep, it's actually a little innovation that gets you a slight advantage in competition, and that's fun.
And we always say that success means try again.
Yeah, success
You are unlikely to get it in the first try.
Huh?
Maybe you need 10 tries, maybe you need 15 tries, maybe you need 100 tries. Does not matter.
There comes the role of the parents. Maybe, it's like, I told them learning, by definition means enjoying to look incompetent for a good while,
Wow, yes. Learning means enjoying to look incompetent for a good while.
Yeah, you as a parent can go ahead.
And be a good example.
We as adults also have to.
Exactly.
So
you have to make fool of yourselves,
modeling that for them.
Right, just make fool of themselves. Parents need to make fool of themselves and just try and fail and just show them.
And at our age, we get to learn the learning process a little bit longer.
Yeah,
we get to enjoy the learning process. Like me, I'm still enjoying the process.
Right.
Wow.
No, and that down to, another component, okay, of this bouncing back and of overcoming is, again, another soft thing. It's how comfortable you as parents show that you struggle with vulnerability and human limits. Okay? If actually something I say is like, only the strong get to enjoy the privilege of being vulnerable. Okay? I say that again. Okay? Only the strong get to enjoy the privilege of enjoying the benefits of vulnerability. Most less strong people have to shield and guard themselves from it and can never show their kids the importance of dealing with their limits, accepting their limits, understanding their limits, and then overcoming and managing them. You see what I mean? Yeah. So, for example, the little brother of Max asking, Max, why is it that in the race, in training, your sparring partner seems to be at least as fast as you and always sometimes even beat you, and overtake you. But in race, you always win. Why is that? And he says, look, young brother, this is because I have stage fright. I sometimes delude myself completely about the nature of a situation, and I make wrong judgments. I'm tired and make my own mistakes, and I'm tired, and I have a hard time to get out of negative thoughts when I made a mistake and so on. But I just manage it a little bit better than the other guys.
Wow.
So that comes from that. When you as parents show them, hey, look, this situation messed with my mind, and I had to do this and that. And you show them that as you're comfortable with your limits. And it's normal and natural, you see. And that you also show them where it hurts and say, look, this also has a signaling function, that you, when you feel the pain, when you feel, that other people with the same neurology go to the same experience, so you can pick this up and so on. So that comes from that's why I also say, as parents, it's very important not to be too perfect, because
You give too much pressure for the
it just stresses them, you know?
stress the children.
So they will
right?
forgive you for being not perfect and for making mistakes, you know, and for being vulnerable and overwhelmed and for expressing it. They will not stop
Share,
loving
yeah.
you know, not at all. You know, it more stresses them if you want to appear too perfect, you know, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, these two soft things of not burdening them with expectations and at the same time, you know, making them comfortable with dealing with their own limits leads then to how quickly they bounce back, because it comes from a deep place of confidence.
Right. Wow. And so that means as parents, we first have to also, like you said, show our vulnerability, talking them through our own challenges and struggles and explaining to them.
Yeah, and we often are afraid to show these vulnerabilities because we were afraid that we would disappoint our parents if we show them, you know, and so we just repeat it.
Yeah. It's true. Were both of you raised this way too?
In which way?
In the way that right now you are parenting your kids, where it's more also that openness and that vulnerability, because from my parents' generation and growing up, you know, it was always that we don't talk about our problems at the dinner table. No one shows signs of weaknesses, for example. And therefore, you know, we could not learn from our parents' examples in that sense of building resilience, mental strength, and bouncing back when we fall.
You know, for me, I think that our parents had different priorities.
Yeah.
And they don't have the same luxury like we have. My dad often, you know, blames himself for bad parenting or whatever. I say, no, you parent at your times
The best you know how.
the best you know how. You didn't have Google at your hands. You didn't have a lot of literature. You didn't have the time to think about how you want to parent so that, you know, I am in a different space and time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I won't make that comparison. And of course, we were not brought up. I was not brought up like that at all. You know, but this is just the way it is.
Yeah.
Right? We want different things, different times.
Yeah.
And I certainly don't want my children to grow up like how I grew up during this time. You know,
Yeah.
wouldn't be useful for them.
Look, and another thing which I think is important is to show them early that they are an important contributing part to the family. You know, that they represent the family. That they, like I said to Max, you know, like what was it, like a year ago? I said, "Hey Max, you know, I want to thank you for really having become an important pillar of our family, and you know." Just thank them, you know, because
And expressing gratitude, which reminds me of the example that you shared that now Max actually as a teenager, I mean, since he was a teenager, has been expressing gratitude to both of you.
Yeah. It's not one way. It's always a two-way process.
He must
you know?
have seen it modeled and in his life,
but
you know, from you.
he's thankful to us, but we should also be thankful to him. We should also be
right,
thankful
you know,
to our kids.
and to show them that they have become an important pillar and contributor to the family doesn't hurt them. You know, I mean, sometimes I see parents hesitating to praise their kids because they think they spoil them all. You know, I don't think praise spoils them. I think it's important. I always told the kids also in communicating with others, people are incredibly robust when it comes to even undeserved compliments. But they're much less sensitive, much more sensitive to
Criticism.
any even alluded criticism. You know?
But
So you might as well abstract from criticism and just go straight for that.
But I think this is an important point for Asian parents, right? Because we always feel, and I've always been told, don't give your children too much, you know, too many praises. It gets over their head. They become too big-headed. And in withholding what the praises that are rightful to the children, we deprive them the confidence we can give them. You know, the healthy confidence. You know, and they always think that Asian parents always think that if I praise my children, they're going to get arrogant. They're going to slack. They're going to do that. And we hold a lot of this. And I think it's not.
It becomes very unhealthy. I know of a lot of adult friends who till today yearn for just their elderly parents.
Acknowledgement.
Yes,
So,
to
like I saw like
acknowledge. Yes, because
this
they didn't-
gentleman, he's like over 60 and he's
Yes.
still wanting the acknowledgement from his dad. He's already on his deathbed.
They
It's like,
cannot
hey,
get. You see, this is
and
what
they
it
yearn
does.
for it, and they overcompensate in different ways.
Right,
and
right.
that's why
So-
it builds in that sense also that trauma and conditioning.
That's why
that-
I stress this, because this is really, don't hold back your praises when
Yeah.
it's due to the children. If they do
Yeah.
something well, say that
by
they
all
did it
means,
something
just,
else.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You don't have to say everything they do well, but when they do something well, make a point to say it to them.
One of the issues, if you tell a kid going through school, like all of them do, and you tell them all the time, look, be a good boy, get good grades, you will be given a good post. Okay? Right?
Which is what
Which is
this
what
society tells us.
inculcates a sense of entitlement. So the kids come out and say like, oh, now I've got my degree, now well, give me. Okay?
Sense
Right?
of entitlement.
As opposed to, hey, kid, the fact that you're grown halfway straight and born into a functional family and you're right in your head and your country
It's
is
a privilege in
is a privilege and it's a privilege, and that this privilege comes with the
with
obligation to take
responsibilities.
others along who are not as fortunate maybe. Your sense of contribution from small, not wait until you're 55 and you can give away a few millions,
I love that, And what is your approach then to discipline?
I tried discipline with the two older ones. I tried discipline. It was like what? One was like a year and a quarter. Right? I tried for an hour.
Even with Jay, you tried, but it didn't help.
And then I said like, hey, look, after an hour, I said, we just got an hour older, lots of tears, okay, didn't get us anywhere. So you know what? I tried the soft way, and I've never ever disciplined the kid ever since. Okay, just never.
Wow.
Yeah, discipline is, when we think of discipline, we think of like punishments.
Correcting.
Correcting them, or more harsh, something that's more harsh. But we always believe, it's better to talk softly and act firmly. And it works much better, at least in our family, because if they're anything like us, you don't go very far with your hard ways. I tried to
Yeah, it was pretty-
physical punishment, and then he said, "What are you gonna do?
How are you going to escalate it?
Yeah, how are you gonna escalate it? First, you
Right.
use the cane, then you're going
What's the
to use
next
the
level, right?
rod, then you're gonna and in the end, you're gonna brand him like the cow. You use this iron thing, and because my second son is really hard-headed, he says, "You want to punish me? No need. I do it myself." He bangs his head on the wall.
Wow.
I tried to lock him up. He says, I was so worried because after some
Just to
time
key
he
out the
was,
window.
I opened the door. He says, "Mom, you wanted to lock me in, so please close the door and lock it behind you."
Oh, wow.
What are you gonna do with
Anyway,
such a
look,
kid?
it's
No,
it's much better to approach it with love.
Yeah.
The good thing about love is it never runs out of stock.
For children, yeah.
for anybody.
Yeah.
Never
Yeah.
runs out of stock, right?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Within us.
When you
Right,
take it out, you can get more.
Yes.
In doubt, add a little bit more.
Yeah.
So
Abundance. Yeah.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
And you can give you can give some kids sometimes. It's okay. Look, actually, just consider why things are done like that. Why do you not speak with the mouthful of food? Why don't
Yeah.
you put the elbow on the table? Why do you?
What is signaling? Yeah,
Say
what's signaling?
what is
yeah.
the rule?
I
what is
see.
what is the role?
What
in
you
social
telling people,
interaction?
yes.
Explain and then let it
Explain.
sink in. And then suddenly they get it. Sometimes you have to tell it a few times, but you say, look, this is a more suitable behavior that gets you further. You know what I mean?
And I would love to switch gears just a little bit to
please.
focus on as a couple, Are there times where you've had differences in opinions or point of view or decisions, and how do you reconcile that?
There's only one time, and it lasted till now. Since we met, we have differences, and it lasted till now.
That's the one time.
That's the one time.
That's the one time.
Since we're together.
Yeah. No, I think we always, as individuals, we will always have differences.
With
And
two
we
human
even,
beings, yeah.
and even we show our differences to our kids. But I think more importantly, you have to show the kids how you reconcile the differences. It's not the differences. Everyone has differences. But if you live under a roof, you are going to have differences played out.
Yeah.
I think the bigger thing is, how do you reconcile them?
Work through and repair
Yes,
from
yes.
there. Wow.
And then we share with our children.
And as a couple also, with the demands of parenting, and especially with kids that are taking part in like competitions and elite athletes, basically. How do you also carve out time and space to ensure that you also focus on yourselves as individuals and yourselves as a couple?
As a mom, as a very, I would say I consider myself a dedicated mom. You always have to do something for yourself. So I take up a new skill every so and so years. I try to challenge myself. I said, I want to do this, and I did, and I put certain things on my list, and I would tell him, and he's very nice. He supports me most of the time. I say, okay, I want to do this. And it's a big skill or a big challenge for myself. And I always want to upgrade myself. Also because I think it's very important to show the children that at the end of the day, you always also have to challenge yourself. You always have to learn, no matter how old you are, how much you've grown or whatever it is. You know, it's a never-ending process, right? In Chinese, we say, 活到老,学到老. And that's very important. And I feel that a lot of working women maybe have less of this issue, but for like full-time homemakers, at the end of the day, when the children leave the nest, it can leave a very big empty hole. And if you don't start to look out for yourself, you start to have too much hopes on the children, and that's when you become obsessive
and becomes very unhealthy.
Yes, and then you want certain outcomes because it's not for the children, it's for you. That's when your ambitions start to speak and not theirs. But if you have your own goals and you work towards them, alongside, of course you will not have priorities, but when you have opportunities, there will be. It's a matter of priorities. I think. And then you feel more fulfilled yourself, so you don't have to seek fulfillment in the kids, you know? And I think that's a lot for me.
Wow.
The Asian parenting.
Like taking care of yourself and also taking the effort to fill your own cup. So that you can pour better into their lives.
And also, differentiate between your goals and their goals.
Wow.
Don't make your goals their goals. I think that's what a lot of parents do.
That's powerful. I recently also had the chance, to get to know this author. She's a palliative nurse and she's been taking care of people in their dying days over the last 30 years. And she said the number one regret that people have on their deathbed is that they wish they had lived a life that's true to themselves than a life that their parents or society had expected of them. And also in a world today where as parents, we usually get so many different points of views or opinions. A lot of them are good intentioned, but for yourselves also, having chosen to pursue a unique path for your kids like Max, do you often also sometimes feel like, you want to give into societal expectations or pressures or certain criticisms that might come along the way from the decisions that you make for your kids? And how do you navigate and balance that, if at all?
I think I feel it more than him. And of course, we come from very conservative backgrounds where we think that at least like 15 years ago or maybe even 10 years ago, where people feel that, to go your own way, it's really the wrong way. And we have been told in our faces, we are selfish parents, we are this, we are that. Or at least I have had this conversation, and people are often surprised. But that's something that only the person who's doing it can tell. I know for me, it was hard. And I'm lucky because he is very strong in he's very steadfast. He doesn't let opinions
waver just by the opinions of and the noises of the world.
Yes, I have to do a little bit more work on myself to overcome the pressure to cave and to say, but it helps when I'm not in that environment.
It's often like this, in the history of the world. It was often you do something crazy for long enough, suddenly people think it's cool.
Yes. What I was criticized heavily yesterday is now today I'm celebrated.
When they see the fruits of your labor.
Yes. But I said the same process would not have such an audience if I didn't have such a good outcome. When you decide to do something that is not in the mainstream,
conventional.
Or not conventional, or not what's expected, then be ready for the swimming upstream. And take away the noise. Understand your own goal. And take away the noise.
Like for example, we with our kids, we take a fairly, how do you say, or me at least, in the discussion, I say, for example, to Max, Max, anybody else's expectation management issues. Don't make you faster around the course.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so, she was under fire. I remember there was like a class gathering, she was under fire. Everybody was like very keen, to say like, we moved to this area so we can get the girls into this school, this, that. Everybody very eager, all the mothers. And then they say, where do your kids go to school? No, they don't go to school. But the degree is important. She said, I guess they will look at the degrees of the people they're going to employ. But, we raise employers. We don't
raise decision makers.
Wow.
So you shift the context and the frame a little bit, and then
just make it
some questions.
Lighthearted, funny.
But also...
Speak the truth in the joke.
But also, were you trembling inside? Because it's almost like, we hope that...
No, I don't
Wow.
I don't tremble.
Wow, there's so much courage that we can really draw.
I mean, what's courage? I said, it's only... It's like, guys, in other times, people with 18, you know what I mean? They led empires, into wars, come on.
Yes.
There's much more the kids can do than you let them do these things.
Yes, first let them.
Hwee, Keng and Valentin, as we wrap up also, what are some final words of encouragement that you can have for parents who are also looking to you as inspiration and examples on raising strong, independent children?
I would say if there's anything which was important in what you say, is allow yourself to look at your kids and say, hey, can they master life? Yes, no, and then when you see, seem to be doing fine, ease off the pressure, ease off the expectations, and just signal to them that you're their safe space, that you're there for them, that you've got them. And let it play out and enjoy them.
Yes.
I hear a lot of negatively connotated suffering, sacrifice. No, I mean, if anything, I ask any of my friends, hey, kids is the best thing they did in their life. They enjoy it. It makes them happy. It's the source of joy.
And that's what I wanted to add to. Don't be so stressed about thinking about providing the best for them and wanting them to have a best life. I think the best thing is if you enjoy them. Find time and space to enjoy your children. And, because all you hear about parenting is always, this, I have a headache about this, about that, and then the PSL is coming, the O-levels coming. Why? I don't understand. Enjoy them because they grow up so fast. Before you know it, you have lost the opportunity.
Because and another issue is, think of Singapore, if you don't enjoy kids, birth rate is going to go down even further,
If you don't enjoy having them and you only lament about, the work, the challenges, do you think they want to have families? I mean, that's the example you're showing them. So much hard work, so much hardship, so much pain,
and
so much
investment.
Yes. So what is it? What message are you sending them?
If you want your kid to remember just one thing about family, about you as a dad, about you as a mom, what would it be?
Okay, I mean, there was a time when I asked Max, he was maybe 8 years old or so, so just as we were like discussing all sorts of philosophical questions, and at the time we were lying in a hammock and watching the universe, and I asked him, just what would we do if we knew that I would die in 2 months' time, And then he became really silent, And he said, I probably would show you that I'm interested in something, and you would learn together more about the stars than you just discussed, and you would also learn about this together. He showed me that he realizes that I so much enjoyed to look at the world together with him, and that this is that he understood this is one of my biggest joys, my biggest luxury is to actually look together with him at the world and open the world with him, So, and he wanted to give me more of this, which he felt that I
enjoy
in your last days together.
Yeah, exactly. So that there is no much bigger pleasures than learning about new things with your kids,
together, yes,
and learning together, and
going through the journey with them together. I think they appreciate it, and we don't realize it. They will tell you. And then these are the moments where you go, these are the aha moments. Yeah.
So very soft.
Yeah.
At the core is very soft little tweaks of how you look at things. That's all.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Hwee Keng, you have any last words that you want to share with those of us listening?
Really, I say, give children the space that let them have a childhood. Let them enjoy. And enjoy them as much as you let them enjoy. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much. This has been so good. Thank you so much, Valentin, Hwee Keng. This was such a impactful conversation for me personally too. So thank you.
Thank you.